Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. So I'm coming on here. I want to do a reading into the eclipse energies for tomorrow. So my time in New Mexico tomorrow evening, peaking at like 8:44. I think it's 8:44 tomorrow evening. And so I'm not at home. I'm in the desert house. I don't have all my usual cards. I'm borrowing some of my daughter's cards that she had here. So some of them are like even kind of new to me. But I just didn't want to wait till I got home because I haven't heard anything about this eclipse. I haven't been guided to, I don't know anything about the astrology. I haven't read anything about anything, but I want to just read into it and see what comes through me and through the cards and stuff like that. And I want to do that for myself, but I thought, well, I'll just record, I'll just record and share it. And I didn't want to wait till tomorrow, so I'm doing it now. So I'm just going to jump right in. Wow, we got three cards that flew right out. Interesting. Okay, so we get Lizard Spirit, Dream the World into Being. Okay, wow. That makes a lot of sense. And Dolphin Spirit, This and That are both true. Okay, so we are still kind of in between, like I was talking about the last time, the Vesica Pisces, where, it's like, here's the old, here's the new, and here's where they lap over, and it's like that structured water where the new is kind of dominating, but we're still in kind of both energies. And then Peacock Spirit, Shine Your Light, which is what we got the reading before last, I believe, where it was all just about that as we clearing out the energies, all of the purges and detoxes on all the levels that we've been doing, as well as with the assistance from the solar frequencies and all the where we're at in the cosmos and all the energies that are coming in to assist us clearing us out and allowing more of our real selves to come in. Wanda Vitale posted something this morning. I loved it so much. She was saying, like, the energies, these big energies that you're feeling that are overwhelming are you. We are the big energies because we're all. So it's like more of us coming in. And I loved that. I hadn't thought of it that literally. And it makes so much sense because, it is us. It is us. So that expanded consciousness is us. And so it can be overwhelming. But if we think of it as like, oh, I'm getting more of the real me, and I'm clearing out that which has never been me, then it can really help with some of the, because a lot of, you can't sleep, or you have, whatever the symptoms are, and you feel weird, and, but just to remember, I'm receiving my true self, and I've just been in this density where, I've been blocked to myself, I've been blocked to my own shine. So anyway, these three cards coming out together. So the thing that has really been the theme for me the last few days goes along with this. Dream the world into being, where at a certain phase in the journey, like for me personally, like it was a couple years ago, my daughter was like, Mama, let's flesh out your dreams a little bit more. Like, what do you want? And I was just like, I don't know, I want you guys to be happy, and I'd love to have a house where I had more privacy, like garden space and stuff like that. And I'm like, but really all I wanted was to come home to myself. All I wanted was for all the blocks to be removed. Like, it's like I didn't want to create anything in the world until I was a pure transmission. I didn't want to, because law of attraction and Abraham Hicks and all that, it's like I didn't want to sit there and like manifest money or manifest a house or manifest success. It's like I will have all those things when I am this, so my only desire was to come home to myself. And so now I feel like there's just this huge shifting in the energy, and it's interesting. I'm kind of feeling this card rather than the words on it, which are this or that or true, is the dolphin spirit. It's like they I think how I want to say this is like dolphins are telepathic. Dolphins travel in between the realms. Dolphins are, what I was going to say is dolphins are our multidimensional selves. They represent our multidimensional selves that knows how to weave, that knows how to work the energy of this realm. And so that's what we were talking about in that last reading, or maybe in this reading. No, it was the last reading where the magician came up, and it was that thing of like when you, because we had the hermit twice, so it was like when you take that time and you use the crunches in your life to go deep within yourself, where you break to the point where you spark, was this the one for the last reading? It might have been, where you break so much that you spark from within. You don't have to worry about miscreating anymore. And so I had a lot of really powerful communions with people just in the last week. One was a reading. I almost want to, like, for people in town, I almost want to like advertise a woman's name, but I haven't gotten the permission from her yet to like blast about how amazing it was. It was the best reading I've ever had. She just completely saw me, and she was saying things about me that explained things to me that I knew were true, but I didn't know how it fit together. And so anyway, really, really amazing. And then another sister that I powwowed with, she's the one that I always anchor everything with. And so a lot of the theme was around this, this topic that they both really helped me with, is that now is the time where we don't have to worry about miscreating. Like, once, it's almost like I threw the baby out with the bathwater, and it was important for a while to be like, for my journey, to be like, I don't want anything until I'm with my God self, you know? And that was my thing. And I had like trial after trial after trial after trial, which I was not a victim of. It's what I was calling in. I was calling in that purification. I didn't remember that, but sometimes I would. But anyway, it's like, you know, for a lot of us, you know, and especially with assistance through the energies that are coming through, you don't even have to be like, hey, I want all of me, you know, which I did when so I'm almost 49. I was 19. This was 30 years ago, and people would ask me, I remember somebody asking me, like, what do you want? You know, what do you want? And I was like, oh, I want to be enlightened. And they were like, okay, but that doesn't really happen. That's not really a goal. And I'm like, well, it's mine, you know. And I just that's how I felt, you know. Or even like for me with substances, you know, it's like I loved the way I felt on them, but I was like, I want to feel this way naturally. I want to figure out how to feel this way naturally. And so I just stopped, you know, everything. I just wanted to build. It's just, you know, was my path, right? Okay, but even if that's not how you are, it's like the energies coming in right now are purging us, and they are bringing in, like Wanda's post, they are bringing us more of ourselves. That veil is loosening. So again, you know, the dolphin and in this case, this and that are both true. It's like that in between realms, the veil between. It's like we can go both. You know, we can go both. We can move. We can be multidimensional. It's like the energies are helping us with that. So even if you haven't been like, you know, setting your sights on that and going through all the consequences of that wish or dream, you know, because speaking of dreaming, anytime we dream of something or we wish for something, it's like all the things that are in the way of that wish and dream have to go first, you know. And for some dreams, we might, you know, have an intention, and then it might take 30 years of cleanup until we can manifest that. And a lot of people will give up on their dreams, or, you know, and myself included, you know, just feeling discouraged and this and that, but realizing that, you know, we can't, and we all know this, you know, we can't really pull something in until we're in alignment with it. But in order to be in alignment with it, we have to clear everything out. And what is alignment with it other than alignment with ourselves? When we're in alignment with our true God spark, then everything we want is ours, because everything we want comes from our soul. It comes from our spark. It's part of our divine blueprint. We're attracted to and drawn to and desire that which is a part of our soul, you know. So everything that we want just floods in when we're at this place. But now, with, again, the assistance of the solar energies, no matter who you are or what you've been doing, you know, it's like we're all coming into more of ourselves, more of our true selves. And in the light of that, our ability to manifest is, or I don't really like that word, but it's good enough. You know, our ability to dream the world into being the way we want it to be. You know, and so something that came up for me is like for my children and my son in particular, you know, this came up in my reading where I was like, well, what can you see about my son, and like, what do I need to do to support him? And she was like, well, it's almost like you've been too hands off. And I share this because other people might relate. It might really help. It might help. It really helped me. She's like, it's almost like you've been too hands off. It's like there's this circle around him, and he's just kind of flailing, but he's pretending he's not, and it's just like not filled in. And like, you can fill that in, you can help. And I was like, oh, well, I have this whole situation set up for him. I had everything you know, this whole other opportunity that like I handed to him and found, you know, and it fell through. And then there were like two other things, and he didn't want to do it. And finally he expressed to me like, Mom, I just need to find my way. I just need some time. I'm going to be okay. And, you know, so I kind of backed off and was just trusting his journey, you know, and that whole thing of free will. And so this is where one of my sisters really helped me, you know, both of them actually, you know, the free will, where you're honoring somebody's sacred journey. But what she said to me was like, of course you want your children to be thriving and happy and healthy and, you know, passionate and interested and, you know, all these things. And so what the woman that did the reading said to me was like, write down everything. Like, you know, my son's name is Akaya. So like Akaya, you know, Akaya is aware of his needs and desires. Akaya is confident to dream of what he wants and desires, to know that he can have it. And, you know, all these things that I want for him and wish for him. And so it was just like, again, filling in that circle, not by moving things out in the outer world, but just and just intending for them. And so, again, in having all of my wishes and desires being on enlightenment, now being, not that I'm saying that I'm enlightened, but, just in these energies, we're all kind of becoming enlightened, which is probably why I wanted it long ago. Some part of me knew where we were going in the shift of the ages and in these energies. And, I didn't know anything like externally at that point in my life, but just the feelings that we have inside, and so all of us are coming into this phase where it's like the dross has cleared, like we're not even, these energies don't support miscreations. They don't support wanting things for the wrong reasons. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. But if we want things that are alignment, we want things for the right reasons, they are going to work. And so again, it's like I kind of threw the baby out with the bathwater, and it's just like all kind of flooded back in for me this weekend. And it's almost a little bit embarrassing to talk about, because it's like, oh, it seems so obvious, and like why am I so like behind the times on this? But I do think that there is some confusion, of course, in the spiritual community around manifestation and around, the law of attraction and all this, where, it's kind of a turnoff where and that whole maneuvering with like materialism and, the balance of like coming into your soul and not finding your validation or your happiness or your sustenance or any of that in external things, like really having it be from the center of you, and everything that comes into your life is a reflection of your spirit and a reflection of the oneness and the unity and your birthright, all this. It's like there is, again, it's like both, like finding the right alignment, being able to maneuver. So I feel like there is a freshness in the energy around creation. So anyway, let me just pull some more cards and see where that kind of guides me here. I want to move this cord, but I'm afraid it's going to knock down my whole setup here. I'm kind of balancing on boxes and this and that, so I'm just going to work around it. Anyway, all right, let's see. Yeah, the Ten of Fire. Okay, so again, I'm reading for the eclipse. I'm reading for the eclipse energy. So definitely a lot of energy around creation and dreaming, and it matches up, because of course whatever's going on in our lives and whatever we're noticing in our personal hologram is connected to the energies. So it's cool to see that, because the big thing for me is just like, oh, and even my wishes for my son, like what I want him to know what he wants, and it's like, well, what do I want, as well, there's a lesson for me as well, knowing what we want and knowing that our desires, when we're in right alignment and we're not living from, distortion, so this is a card of, I'm going to finish that thought, but this ties into this, because this is a Ten of Wands, and look at this, it's like burning away, like if these are all the contracts or all the karmic agreements or all the like the distortions that we've had in our field, they're all burning away. I mean, all 10 of them are on fire, the whole way around her, and it's just like clearing all of that out. It's a card of completion, it's a card of rebirth in a way, is how I'm seeing it right now. I also really always notice that her hand, this one hand right here, is red, like it's burning on fire, like she's so devoted to the clearing of the dross that she's set herself on fire, and she doesn't even care or notice, she's just, so that kind of dedication that a lot of us have had in clearing out this energy, and then, and again, coming into that alignment where you can trust your dreams, you can trust your dreams, and you can trust your multidimensional and telepathic connection with all that is, like the I am presence, and I am one with the I am presence of all humanity, it's like one movement here, and so, for me with my son, like wishing the absolute best for him, that's what my friend was supporting me in, is like, that's of course, and you have every right to dream that into being, and to put your energy into his field to assist him and help him, and just the freedom, and the whole thing of free will, and like backing off and letting everybody have their own path, and yet the finesse in doing that, in doing that. So anyway, let me keep going. I don't want to project my own thing, but it's like you'll find the ways that it applies for you in your own life. I think this is the wheel. Yeah, it's the wheel. So the Wheel of Fortune. So there it is. Big changes happening after all of this burns off, which is the message that just keeps coming through in different ways. But again, this time, in different readings over and over again, but like with a slightly different angle. So in this reading, I feel that it's really coming through big changes in relation to our creation. And so this being connected to the eclipse tomorrow, which I have to remind myself of, because I usually don't just like read for a specific event that's coming up. I usually just read the energy, but the energy is the specific event, because it's all connected, you know. So again, a lot about creation. So, you know, in our world, so it feels like, so eclipses run for the next 6 months. So the next 6 months, a lot of changes in the what we're seeing in the outer world, in our lives, because there's been a shift. I feel like we've reached some level of clearing and access, you know, based on this multidimensional. This is kind of coming through as the Magician card for me today, where you have access to the realms. You have access. It's funny, I'm doing figure 8 too. You know, you have access to the infinity sphere that we all are. You know, we all have an infinity sphere around us, that through the portal of our heart and our divine spark, we have access to everything, and therefore we can pull in anything. And we're in alignment enough that we're not, I'm getting chills, that we're not going to miscreate. We're not going to add to the miscreations. We're going to bring heaven on earth down. We're going to bring it down. Wow. So this coming in with this eclipse, this coming in now, and then seeing evidence of it for the next 6 months. And then again, we have another, you know, with the full. So what my ex always said, my kid's dad, he's my ex, whatever. But sounds funny. Oh my gosh, because I've known him for eons, and we've been through so much, and you know, it's like these characters that we're playing. But in this life, you know, my ex. But anyway, he does Vedic astrology, and so he always says, like with the eclipse, you might not feel it until like the next full or new moon. So that like the new moon, then you know there's a marker, and then the next, and the next, you know, it just goes on through the months, and then the next eclipse is after that, right? But so anyway, I feel like after this, we really are going to be seeing changes in our lives. We are already, but even more, and also in the world, you know, but from this dream machine, because so many of us are occupying this space of that magician energy. The magician energy is like what I was saying last week. It's a byproduct of coming into alignment, and I'm getting chills again. It's a byproduct, because when we clear away the dross, what is underneath is this, and what is underneath is our multidimensional nature, our where we have access. We have access to all through that heart portal, and so we automatically create as a reflection of this. What we create when we're in this energy is heaven on earth, you know, heaven on earth. And our dreams are naturally, the things that we want and the things that we dream of are naturally part of that heaven on earth, because that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. And so it's written in our blueprint. You know, our desires are part of our soul path, and so everything that we pull towards us is part of our soul mission. So a couple readings ago, we were talking about the soul guided missions and how everything in our life is in support of that, either to steer us away from something or to get us to clear something or whatever. So our missions as, you know, star-seeded humans, way showers here on earth, is written in our DNA, our cells, whatever. And as we clear stuff away and we make that change, you know, this is almost like the turning of the wheel, like the activation of our light bodies, the activation of our missions, the activation of our memories. We automatically start living automatically, naturally. You know, the first part of the journey is about this. It's about clearing all these things away so that the view is clear, so that we're living from this. And then it's about creation. So that's what I was talking about last time, where, you know, it's like we're in that passageway again. You know, kind of the this and that is both true. They're both true. But I feel like with this eclipse, we're shifting into this, where the game has changed. The mission has changed. Like part 2 of the mission is about creating heaven on earth, and that we do through our dreams, through what we desire. Everything that we desire is part of our mission, and part of what the seeds that we're planting here on this planet for the shift of the ages, and for this new expression, and the expression of our God selves, you know, which is what was intended. But wow, we had to, you know, really go through a lot of this. So that's really beautiful and exciting. I like reading here too. I like that I'm reading in a different spot. You know, as we're talking about this like brand new energy, I'm in a different spot with different cards. I'm going to use my daughter's unicorn deck. It's an oracle deck. I did buy a new deck last week at the shop that I work at, so I'm so excited to read with that. I don't have it here. I didn't know I was going to read here, but anyway, so this is a unicorn deck. I forget what it's called. It's too many cards. That's the front of it. Nothing. It doesn't show anything about unicorns on there. Oh, that's interesting. It matches this, and the auroras, you know, and the reflection, and just the light, you know, the higher light. Okay. Anyway. Oh, and this is a 10 card as well. This is a 10 card 46, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then this is a 10 card And this is a 10 card, so we have 3 tens. So there's that completion. There's that completion and the newness. Again, you know, reaching this level of multidimensionality where the dreaming and the manifesting of our soul mission, of our soul path, of our soul spark, a true expression of ourselves, easily manifesting because we're in alignment with it. That change having happened. Let's see what the unicorn is. All right, hold on. I haven't really worked with this deck, so I kind of have to like attune to it there. Oh, prosperity. Wow, prosperity. A gift of money is on its way. Your income is increasing. Manage your finances with love. Well, okay, so that just kind of goes along with, rather than like just money or prosperity, you know, just the abundance of having what you need, you know, again, that energy of birthright where, you know, this being a time after something really shifting in terms of, well, it's really interesting because Laura Hazel, who I often reference, she is talking a lot about the reptilian, you know, the overlord, you know, that which has covered this up, you know, that in our realm which has covered up our God spark and our ability to create heaven on earth, all of the programs, all of the hijacks leaving, you know, these beings, these programs, these entities, whatever, however you want to refer to them, leaving of free will. Why? Because my understanding is because, you know, the multidimensionality on this planet, the energies that are coming through are at a frequency now where, one, like I was saying, you can't miscreate, you can't create anything from a lower consciousness or intending harm for others. That's not in the highest good of all. I am my I am presence, and I am one with the I am presence of all humanity. If it's not service to others, you know, it's not working anymore. So a lot of these beings leaving of their own free will, and so the whole playing field is changing, and I feel it within myself because I've always sort of been I'm attuned to energy, so I've been attuned to the light and the dark, and I've always felt negative energies around me. I was also really open and really unified, and just, you know, it's almost like well, that was one of the things that she said in my reading. Like, I didn't come from here, and I haven't had many lifetimes here, but I came coded with the different archetypes, so I can relate to them and I can play the scene. But I'm not from here. I came here to anchor the energy of where I'm from to here, and so I came in really open-hearted and really kind of like naive, and, you know, I had to learn the hard way. And so I was always preyed upon, and, you know, I always talk about how I didn't have good boundaries, but that's because I'm merged. I'm merged with everything. I don't know where I end and where I begin. It's something that I really had to work on, how to be grounded, how to have a container, you know, how to activate my own masculine that protects me, and all the things I always talk about. And so she helped me understand a lot of that. And so, but anyway, oh, I lost my thought because I got into my own story here, you know, my own, yeah, okay, so hold on a sec. Oh yeah, so, the energies coming in, the energy. Okay, right now I'm just going to move on. I'm noticing the spark and the unicorn's horn, which is interesting because I remember like years and years and years ago, Magenta Pixie talking about how imagery and talking about archetypes, right? The imageries that we conjure are they're like activation codes. They're codes. They're, what does she call them? Fire language. They're codes in imagery that activate our DNA because our DNA recognizes them. The archetypes hold a certain energy signature that matches our DNA or matches the dormant codes within ourselves that activates them. And one of the visuals that she said to use for activation is like a unicorn. Really out there now. Hey, it's the unicorn cards. The unicorn jumping over a rainbow, right? And then you touch the end of its horn like this, and it sparks. You know, it sparks you into remembrance. It sparks you into remembrance. So again, this energy of remembrance and coming into I can't remember. I thought if I just started talking, maybe that point I was gonna make would come through, but I don't remember it. It'll probably come back to me. Oh wow. Okay, so interesting. Wow. Okay, so one of the things that I did want to say was the prosperity, you know, where it's not so much just about like money, but like where we're having everything that we need. We're having everything that we need as an example of our birthright, you know, our birthright. But why the hell did I bring myself up? Why did I bring up that reading? Why did I bring up that reading? I don't remember. I almost want to like start this all over because I'm like, no, I just like fragmented. Why would I bring that up? Maybe I'll remember. But the Queen of Wands. So this is the magnetic force. She pulls everything in. So there it is again. You know, where everything that I'm talking about. You know, when we're in our right alignment and we're living from our true center, we're pulling in, we're just automatically pulling in that which is a match to us. So that's a perfect example. This card is a perfect example. However, it's coming out with the Three of Swords, which is the heartache card, you know, just breaking your heart. The Five of Pentacles, the I can't have card, and the Five of Cups, you know, which is loss and grief and regret and longing. So that is really interesting. Let me clarify that. Let me look at these a minute. Gather myself. Yeah, it's interesting because I'm noticing the colors with these three and the orange and that sacral chakra, you know, and the fire, the alchemical fire of burning off, you know, burning off that which has been in the way, which is, you know, all of this, you know, all the heartache, all of the times in the past when you couldn't have, all the things that you had to let go of. And I think that that's what got me, you know, with my ability to manifest. And, you know, when I went a little like too far and was just like, okay, I'm just gonna you know, what surrender, and just whatever needs to come to me can come to me, and you know, whatever needs to come to anybody else can come to anybody else. Like I wasn't working the dream machine very much at all. I was just in the flow, which was part of the journey, you know, part of the journey, because for a long time we did have to have the heartbreaks. We had to have the heartbreaks to crack us open, to remember who we are, you know. And we had to have the losses. Maybe we had some dreams or some things that we wanted, but they didn't work out. Well, maybe they didn't work out because we wanted them for the wrong reason. Maybe we wanted something because we wanted to prove to ourselves that we were worthy, or that we were lovable, or that we were okay, you know. And then it's like, no, you can't fill yourself in from the outside. You have to break. You have to break, and you have to drain out, and you have to let, you know, all of the loss and the longing and the you know, the all of these things where you can't have that broke you open, they empty you out, they help to clear you. So again, it's this energy, you know, where everything's leaving, and then so that we can, you know, just everything that I always talk about, but it's just, you know, a lot of people can get hung up in victim, and you know, just we forget that it's all for us. But anyway, point being that at a certain point in the game, you know, kind of like me, where I was like, well, I don't want things until you know, I don't want anything until I'm a pure transmission. So then we get a lot of this to purify us. But again, that message of like now. So then we can be like, well, you know, we're in that mode of I'm not going to ask for anything, or I don't want anything because I want to finish my trials. You know, I'm going to like eat my bowls of shit. You know, like, okay, I get it. I'm doing this. Now it feels that with this energy that we're in right now, including the eclipse energy, that the game has changed. The game has changed, and now we are able to attract in and magnetize in what we actually want. It's like we're allowed to want now. You know, we're allowed to want, and it's going to work. So, you know, that feeling of like, well, I'm not going to bother because it's probably not time, or it didn't work before, and so I'm in this surrender mode. It's just kind of like reading the scroll, right? And be like, oh, this is like Act 2. You know, this is like Act 2, and we go and we do our costume change, and we come back and we do it differently. But here we are living our lives, and we might not know, you know, we might not remember the script, you know. And so just catching up to the fact that now is the time. The change is being made, and it's time to move forward with your dreams, and to you know, or even for your loved ones, you know, to put your intentions forward, knowing that they are going to come in because now's the time. So that's kind of like the overall energy of what I'm feeling for this eclipse, and for where we're at right now, is that the game has changed. And I think these cards came up just to kind of indicate, like, you know, it used to be a certain way, but that was necessary and that was important for that time. But now the change has happened. We've accessed our multidimensional selves. We're moving from the heart center, this space, and now we can bring things in. So dream, you know, pump the dream machine. Okay, I want to see if anything else wants to come through. Still trying to figure out why I brought that up. Not trying to figure out. Oh, purification. Okay, yeah. So yes, isn't that pretty? Yeah, I never use these cards in silver because I don't have them there. They're the I forget what they're called. But anyway, yeah, purification, pine spirit. Is that what it is? Yeah, pine spirit, the snowy snow-covered pine trees. So purification, we've been purified. You know, it's like and look, it kind of matches these colors here, very, 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 very much. Even the sparkles here, you know, in her dress. And so, what number card is this? A 30 and a 20. That's funny, which equals a 5 actually, if you can condense them down. So there's another change card, another completion card. Yeah, we got two 5s here. So including this, that's 3 5s, and then all those 10s. So yeah, big card of change. The purification has happened and the game has changed. The game is changing. So let's see, I will pull from this deck here. This deck is a little fairy deck, which is also, this was a fairy. So let's see if there's any other messages. If it continues to repeat, then I'll just close. Okay, let's see here, that's too many. All right, one last message perhaps from the fairy deck. One last message. Yeah, it's like these cards aren't used to like doing this with me. So, juggler and nurturing. That's interesting. Juggler and nurturing. Let me see. Let me clarify that. I didn't use this deck yet. Well, that's pretty interesting because this card reminds me of this card. Like it's like this is around her, you know, where she's, and this around her, you know, she's tossing something. She's tossing. They're working with something behind the realm. Nurture. She has an egg. She's holding this egg. Okay. She's nurturing that. She's actually, it looks like she's kind of surrounded. I guess those are stones, but they kind of look like eggs too. So there's that like birthing, you know, that birthing energy, that creation energy. Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. And then the Two of Swords. So the Two of Swords, you know, is interesting because the Two of Pentacles in a lot of the tarot decks is a juggling energy as well. And so the twos being cards of choice. All right, but the way I'm reading this is, again, you know, it's like, this is almost like a Seven of Cups type of energy where it's like you have all these choices. You have all these choices of what you want to manifest, of what your dreams are, you know what I mean? And it's like you're blindfolded. You're blindfolded and you're wielding your sword. And often this is a card of being between a rock and a hard place, you know, which is more this energy where you don't really know, you don't really know like where to go. You don't really know how to move. That's kind of like the old energy where it's like, you know, we didn't know how to maneuver, you know, we didn't know how to maneuver between the realms. We were just kind of stuck, you know, trying to like move things in the third dimensional realm. But I feel like it's like now we're like being asked to nurture our dreams, to nurture the plethora of things that we desire and that we want, and all the things that are a natural expression of our soul, again, because that purification has happened, and where it's like you can you know, it's just a different energy. So I feel like this is kind of reiterating. Again, I'm not really used to using these cards in readings, so I don't have as much of a flow with them because I'm like, the other ones just really talk to me, you know, they talk to me and it's just like kind of easy. So I'm going to look at these again and see what else might pop out at me. Yeah, so she's, you know, she's balancing on this like little berry, and she has all these other little berries around her. But what I'm really noticing in this card is her stillness and just her kind of like precision, you know, which is a little bit different than this card, because in this one it's sort of, you know, she's feeling behind, you know, she's blindfolded and she has to sort of intuit where everything is, but there's a little bit of like danger energy in this. So again, it's like this choice where, you know, there's this choice point where we have to like nurture this energy, because again, a change has happened. So it's kind of like what I was saying, like there was like, you know, the soul script where you get to part 2, but you don't realize you're at part 2. So there's the 2 again, you know, where it's kind of like, hey, you know, take the blindfold off and read the script. And I think maybe, you know, this can be kind of a reminder. I think that's why I wanted to read, because I needed this reminder to be like, the game has changed, and like really nurture this new energy, and just don't go into this energy anymore. So like on the floor here, you know, on the right side is all of this this energy of the past. okay, this energy of the past, and the colors are really gray, you know, and they're you know, just that kind of cloudy blue, and you know, a lot of this. And so then on the other side of the reading are all, you know, all the other cards, you know, so there it is. There's part one and part two, but this is behind, you know, and moving into and nurturing, you know, the new, what's coming through now through this eclipse, through these energies, and realizing that the game has changed and it's shifted. And even though it was this way for a really, really, really long time, doesn't mean that this energy is coming. It's not coming with, you know, making, again, like this, making a clean break as we move over into this new creation. Again, this happening with this eclipse energy of now, and all of these things being burnt away, and then also, you know, being reflected in the larger behind the scenes scales, like with the things that Laura is saying, and you know, you can kind of see it everywhere. Like, this is the time, and I think it's just, you know, it just takes some time to be like, okay, this is real, this is happening. This is the time when we start to bring our codes down, and you know, and live the heaven on earth timeline together from our heart center, you know, and just really releasing this energy, and again, making that choice to do so consciously, putting your attention on it, you know, and you know, the juggling, I don't always look at the words, but you know, it's like the juggling there is, you know, we're still, this and that is both true. We're kind of still in a little bit of both realms, you know, but I feel like with this eclipse, we're moving more into this co-creative energy, and we're being given the choice, you know, at this moment, if we want to be like really, really on the front of the wave, you know, we can read into this energy and use our intention, again, our intention and our choice and our focus to lean into, again, to nurture, to lean into this part two, you know, this part two where we can really do a lot more. You know, we can go back to dreaming, we can go back to intending, we can go back to stepping forward, and this time it's not going to fall on its ass, you know, it's going to thrive and it's going to grow, because we went through enough of these where we're able to create from the purity. We've been purified, and so now being the time. So that's really beautiful. I am going to end there. I'm at 36 minutes. I don't know if I'm going to post this because I got all weird in the middle, but we'll see. I don't mind being imperfect. I don't mind being human. I like to kind of share that, you know, just the authenticity, because I think that's what we're moving into, you know, and don't have to try to present, you know, in something that's perfect, because it never will be. You know, please not with me. So anyway, thank you for listening, and yeah, we'll see what happens on the other side of this eclipse. It's kind of weird, because I feel so, I really do feel, you know, kind of in this energy where I'm just surrounded by all these like wonderful things unfolding and happening, and yet sometimes it's hard to stop and assess what's actually happening because we're so in it, you know. So it felt good to read today. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time if I do. Bye-bye.